told a story about fear, about how fear is so powerful. It'll make you do things that you never would have imagined. I told a story about my partner Red, who shot himself in the foot, because he was having dreams and he was so afraid, and he kept saying, man, I'm gonna die, Larry. And I kept saying, hey brother, you'll be all right, don't worry about it. Hey, there ain't nothing you can do about it. And he said, so after he shot himself and they took him out of they medevaced him out, and we never saw or heard whatever happened to Red again. We went on Operation Kingfisher a few days later. And I remember that battle will rage in my mind for the rest of my life. It'll always be there. The screams, the cries, everything. When I finally got out and I was at the hospital and they were working on me, I remember I was laying there waiting for them to do the first surgery on me. And as I looked down, I saw all these guys wounded and dead and stuff. And all of a sudden, Red came back to my mind. And I thought, man, Red knew something. He knew. He was so scared that he didn't want to go on this operation. He knew, and I don't know if he would have died or not, but in his heart and in his mind, he was so afraid that that's what was going to happen, that he was willing to do whatever he had to do to get out of it, even if it meant shooting himself. As the years went by, when I think about Red, I think to myself, he's probably a congressman now, running on the fact that he's a disabled veteran who was wounded during the Vietnam War and probably wears a Purple Heart. But I can't hold nothing against the brother. I mean, you do what you gotta do to stay alive. That's just part of the instinct inside of you, man, that you do what you gotta do. So, for all the brothers who I realize that the people who suffered the most were the mothers and fathers, the sons and daughters, the wives, the children, all of those people. When you talk to them about their husbands or boyfriends or sons who served in the military and went off to war to do whatever they did, they'll never be the same. They change. For a lot of them, they shut it off inside of them and they never talk about it because they're afraid to open it up and let it start coming out. Because once you do, it's hard to stuff back down. It's hard not to see those images, see those things in your mind that you will never forget about. In the movie Born on the 4th of July, when they were in the desert, and they were both in wheelchairs, both crippled. And one of them saying, William Dafoe saying, you didn't fight that war. You didn't fight that. You didn't kill no babies. And he says, yes, I did. I killed babies, man. To see those images, they will never leave you. You stuff them, you put them away, you say, stop it. And you turn it off, you try to turn it off. Some people can't, that's why they commit suicide. Some people, it's so overwhelming, so powerful. I remember I was suicidal at one point. I thought to myself, man, the world would be better off without me. I need to check out, and I remember I got up and I walked all night long the sun came up. I thought all these images just rushed through my mind, things that I had seen and done. When I got home the next morning, I said, I'm not going to kill myself. That's not the way out for me. I realized that suicide is not my role, and I'm not going to do that. You know, I have my corpsman was suicidal. He talks about this. After he came back from Vietnam, he went to college and he got his degree in clinical psychologist. He went to work for the VA hospital and had a caseload of guys that he was working with. At the same time, he was drinking regularly, and he said, and he had his gun right there on the desk. And more than once, he had thought of killing himself. You know, he said, man, life's just not working, you know. And the phone rings, and he picks it up, and it's one of his clients. And he says, hey, Doc, I just called to tell you, thank you for everything you tried to do for me, my brother, but I'm checking out. And so Doc said, before he could, and he said, there's nothing you can say to me that is going to change my mind. And Doc said he wanted to say to the guy, hey, I know exactly how you feel, man. I got my gun here, and I think about it all the time. And he heard the shot go off. Pow! Phone went dead. Like I said, he had been drinking. He had been sitting there drinking. And so he just sat there for a while, and his pager went off. And when he saw it, he called, and they said, hey, one of your clients is in the hospital. You need to go there. So he went there, and it was the guy he had been talking to on the phone who had killed himself. And he said the family was all there, you know, and they were crying, and they were so grief-stricken about it, you know, that Doc at that moment made his mind up that that's not how I'm going to go out. I'll never do that.